Okay, so good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining Demo Academy sessions. This is the first session that we're planning to do. My name is Yael Hacker, and together with me is Shai Levin. We're both from Checkpoint Solution Center, and we're responsible for the DemoPoint platform. Together with me are also Eric and his team from R&D, who will later on will do the training. Just a few words about DemoPoint Academy. The idea with the DemoPoint Academy session, the reason we're doing it is to increase your knowledge and confidence with Checkpoint technologies, and specifically with the different blueprints that we have to offer for you as part of DemoPoint. So today we're going to talk about Central Deployment Tool. It's a new blueprint that we just released a few days ago. And we will have later on a few more sessions, and everything is based on your feedback, based on the survey that we've sent you a few weeks ago. So before we start, and Eric from R&D will do the training, I wanted to show you where it is located in DemoPoint. So just a second. So this is DemoPoint screen that you're all aware of. And if I do now create just a lecture for the exercise, and I'm using Europe, this is my closest region. So you can see here the different options that we have available for you to use. One of the options is Other. And under Other, you will have the Central Deployment Tool. This is the new blueprint that we've released a few days ago, and today you will learn how to use it, how to demonstrate it to your customers, and also do self-learning for yourself. So now I will let Arik continue and do the training. Here you go. Arik, I'm doing stop share.
Hi everyone, this is Arik from Checkpoint R&D. I'm a team leader responsible for the development of the Central Deployment Tool, or CDT. And with me is also Tzachi, my group manager. And I will be displaying the DemoPoint environment we have prepared to help you demonstrate the Central Deployment Tool to customers. I'll start with a short background presentation. Okay, so I'll start with a short background presentation. First of all, for any of you who are not familiar with CDT, just a quick background about it. CDT, or Central Deployment Tool, is a command line tool which is run from the management or from the multi-domain server. And is used to perform installations such as hotfixes and upgrades on multiple gateways and clusters connected to that management machine. It performs the installations in parallel on all gateways and clusters. It is fully automatic. It supports fully automatic cluster upgrades with connectivity upgrade. And starting the recent version 1.5, we also have two advanced new features. One is the advanced mode, which allows you to perform various actions besides just deploying a hotfix or an upgrade. You can perform various other actions or chain a sequence of actions to be performed on the gateways and on the clusters. And the other new feature is the Rma Backup and Restore feature, allowing you to back up your gateway's information on the management machine for the case where they are damaged and you need to replace them with RMA, and then you can restore that information, and CDT will install the version, install the hotfixes, and restore the configuration on that gateway. So this is just a very quick background on CDT. Our target for today's demonstration is to allow you to easily demonstrate the CDT to customers and partners, to showcase the different capabilities, to explain different capabilities, meaning that CDT can install hotfixes and upgrades. It can perform other tasks for you. We'll explain about the different customization options in the advanced mode, and we'll introduce the RMA mode. The demo we have prepared, the environment we have prepared is capable, it supports 4 different flows which you can use to show to customers. We've made a simple hotfix flow, which is a short flow. If you have just short time to meet with customers and to quickly display CDT, this is the best one to use, and as it takes only 20 minutes. But we also have other flows which go into more depth for how to use CDT. The basic flow, which is using CDT's basic mode, which is a simplified usage mode, but limited in capabilities. And in this flow, in the simple hotfix flow, we show how to install a small hotfix, which is it's a dummy hotfix that we created for this purpose, to install it on a cluster of 2 members using CDT's advanced mode. In the basic flow, which takes roughly 1 hour, we show how to install a jumbo hotfix, which is something that customers are more familiar with, on the same cluster of 2 members. And we also show the extended preparations mode, which can be used to send the packages to the target machines, to the target members of the cluster ahead of time before the maintenance window, thus shortening the required time for the maintenance window to lead the actual installation itself. We have the advanced flow, which we will not be showing today, not in full at least, because it takes too much time. It's about 1.5 hours. In the advanced flow, you will be able to show the customer a chained upgrade and installation of a hotfix all together in one command. But we also show the flexibility of the advanced mode with 2 different deployment plans, one used to send the packages to the gateway and the other to install them. But there is also much more customization available in the deployment plan in the advanced mode. And lastly, we have the Rma Flow, which takes about 1 hour, which allows you to show the customers how they can back up the gateway. And you simulate the Rma in the demo, and then you restore that gateway to the version, hotfixes, and configuration it was when you backed it up. So in today's demo, as I said, we'll just show the simple hotfix flow, the basic flow, and the Rma Flow. I would like to focus more on the guide itself that we have prepared, and I will show it in a minute, and how to use it, because it should be very easy to use, and it's a step-by-step guide showing you exactly how to run the demo, and you should be able to do it even if you're not very much familiar in depth with CDT. So let's just jump right into one of the environments. We've prepared 3 environments here, A, B, and C, one for each flow, just to simplify matters. You can do it all in the same environment, but today we want to run them in parallel, and that won't be possible unless we have different environments. So when you start up the environment in demo mode, this is what you get. You get a client machine with connections to all the machines available in the environment. I'll just pop up the guide here and show you, just going over the first introduction phases. And you can see here the basic detail of the environment. You have one multi-domain server with 3 CMAs on it, and to one of the CMAs are connected a cluster of 2 members, a cluster Excel of 2 members, a single gateway of R8010, and a single gateway of R7730. And we also have an extra single gateway which will be used to simulate the Rma Restore. We simulate it as a new gateway, which is a replacement gateway after one has been damaged. So this is the basic environment, and as you can see here, you have SSH links to all the machines. We will mostly be using the MDM one because that's where CDT runs from. So let me just pop that up. And let's go over the flows one more time. We have the simple hotfix flow, the basic flow, the advanced flow, and the Rma flow. Today we will start with the basic flow because it takes a little bit longer, and I would like to kickstart it. So let's just go to the basic flow part of the guide. Here we go. And the first thing you can see here is it tells you that the management machine is prepared with CDT installed and configured for it. what you need to do is go to this folder. I'll just copy paste it. And in this folder, you can see there are several files. Let's just go back to the guide. And the guide tells you about the files. We have here the main executable file, Central Deployment Tool, which you can see here. The main configuration file, Central Deployment Tool.xml, which we'll go over in a second and explain the different parts of it. We have the CPU's RPM file, which CDT will use to update the CPU's agent on all the gateways in the installation phase. And we also have two scripts, post-installation SH and pre-installation SH, which they will be executed during the installation in this demo. They're not mandatory; they're just optional. But we use this demo to show how to run pre-installation and post-installation scripts using the basic mode. So the basic mode, just to remind everyone who is not very familiar, the basic mode allows you to install one package and run pre-installation and post-installation scripts, and that's it. It doesn't allow you any more customization of your actions. But here we will show the entire capability of the basic mode. So just to go over this, the guide tells you to open the Central Deployment Tool XML and go over the different parts of it. So let's do that. And here you can see that the main configuration file is an XML file, and it has different parts. Again, the guide explains each entry in the XML. We have the package to install element, which is the most important part. It tells CDT which package we want to install in this run. This element is only relevant for the basic mode. In the advanced mode, we have a different way to do this. So package to install, and then logging, which defines the logging level of CDT in different venues. We have the path to the CPU's RPM, which we need to define. So it's defined here. Batch, which allows you to control installation batches. This is not something that we wanted to cover in the demo because it's a little bit more advanced and not many customers will want to use it. So I won't go into more depth about it. Definition of the pre-installation and post-installation scripts. Again, these are not mandatory; these are optional, and you can even define more than one pre-installation and more than one post-installation script here. And mail notification to get notification after the operation is finished, or for every error that is encountered during the operation. So this is the main configuration file. Let's also see the scripts themselves. The pre-installation script. You can see that the script performs various commands and redirects the output to a single log file. And I remind you that this script is run on each gateway which we install which we use CDT to install on. So on each gateway, we'll get this file, this pre-log.txt file, containing the output of all these actions below. So this will be run before the installation, and the post-installation script will be run after the installation. And you can see that we've put the cp-info -y all output there, so you can see that the installation has been completed successfully. Okay, let's go back to the guide, and the guide tells us that the first step is to generate a candidates list. In this step, CDT will create the MNDS database, and it will create a list of applicable candidates in a candidates list file. So first of all, we need to set the MDS environment. We run this command, and to set our CMA. Okay. And the next command is to generate the candidates list. Let's just go over the command for a second here. So we're running the central deployment tool. We're telling you to generate the candidates list. We're specifying a candidates list file, which will be created in this action. And we're telling it the CMA IP again. This is just for CDT to verify that we are in the correct environment. So let's do this. This should be relatively quick in this environment, at least. And while we're doing it, we can go to the guide, go back to the guide and see what the output of the candidates list should look like. In a minute, we'll see it here. It's on the screen already. And you can see here that the candidates list, this is the output of the candidates list file, but I can also go into the created file cam.csv, and it's the same thing. And here you can see a breakdown of the environment connected to our CMA, to the CMA that we are on. And we see that there are two cluster members here. There's a cluster of two members here, and there are two separate gateways, like I've shown you in the guide. We can also see, besides seeing the versions of each machine and the IPs, we can see another column called upgrade order, which tells us which machines will be part of this installation. We can see that both cluster members have the number 1 on them, and the two gateways have other characteristics. The R3730 gateway tells us that the jumbo, in this case we're installing a jumbo hotfix. This is what we're installing because this is what was defined in the configuration file. It's the R3730 jumbo HF take 302. So this tells us that this jumbo hotfix is already installed on the gateway. And this NA tells us that the gateway is on the wrong version because the gateway is in R8010 and this jumbo is not fit for that version. But the clusters, both have R7730 and do not have this hotfix installed, so they're both marked as 1. 1 means that they will both be installed in the first batch. By default, every machine will be installed in the same batch, but you can change it either manually by editing the candidates list or using the configuration that I've shown before, but I won't go into depth about it. You can also change the number here to a dash, to a minus, in order to skip the installation on a single gateway or cluster member. Again, not to go into more depth about it, but that is one way you can limit the installation to specific gateways. We will show another way in the next flow. So after we've generated the candidates list file, we'll go back to the guide, and it explains us what I've just said about the upgrade order and about the different settings here. So now we will use the extended preparations mode. As I said, this mode will send the packages to the gateways, and it will also verify the package. It will also run the pre-installation script. So everything is said here. We can just run the command. As you can see, the command is almost the same syntax, almost the same command as generate command. The only thing different is this extended preparations in the middle. We can just run the command. And while it's running, let's go back to the guide and see what it will do. So it will run the pre-installation script on the gateways, on both gateways, on both cluster members. As I said before, only the cluster members will be part of this installation, as it was specified in the candidates file. It will update the CPU's agent with the RPM defined in the configuration file. It will send the jumbo hotfix installation package to the gateway. It will import that package on the CPUs on the gateways, and it will perform a CPU's verify on the gateways. So let's go back here. And we can see that it's running, and we can see that it's running on 2 cluster members. And this will not take very long, but I can show you in the meantime the logs. So let's open another connection to the management machine while it's running. And let's go to the logs directory. Sorry. All right, so in the logs directory, we have the main log. This is the main CVT log. And we have a log for each cluster or gateway, which is part of the operation. So we can view this log. Let's view the main log first. It's a bunch of information, which not all is relevant here, but you can view it, and there is much more information for that specific cluster or gateway in the specific cluster log here. And we can also see the deployment plan, which is not interesting right now in this flow. While it's running, what we also can see, if we go to the directory, the same directory that we started to run from, which is opt cpcdt basic, we can also see that two files have been created here. This status file and the status file with brief in the end. These are files that are updated regularly by CDT and show us the status of the operation. The guide, let's go back to the guide again. Sorry. You can see the guide shows you the ways to monitor your progress of installation. In this case, we're not installing, we're just sending the package to the gateways. But the status file can also be used to monitor that if we want. Let's see, it's still running, yeah. So let's view this status file. I'll view it with less first. We can see that we have here a cluster with 2 members, and currently member B is performing the operations. Member A is not started yet because CDT will start with the standby member, and then only then we'll go to the active member, even in the preparation stage. So we can see that the previous stage here, it imported the package, and right now it's verifying the package. And after it's finished, it will go back to member A and do the same thing there. It will send the package and import it and verify it. So what I did is I used less, but as we can see in the guide, it recommends to use watch cat instead. So this will allow you to just see the status file updated in 2-second intervals. So here we can see that member B is finished, and you can see that it's updating all the time. Member 2 is finished its operation, and now member A is in operation, and it's currently running. It's finished running the user script. Right now, it's sending the Jumbo Hotfix package, and everything is running. And while we're seeing that, we can also see the output of the screen, and it's showing us the same thing, but it's much easier to see it in the status file. So here we can see that it's importing the package right now. And I said that there was also a brief status file. That's the same thing, only in brief form. This is more suited for when you have a large number of gateways and you want to show them all in one screen. So here you can see that it's just one line for the cluster instead of multiple lines. But for this demo, I think it will be better to see it like this. So while it's importing, I think we can go and check out in the guide. You know what? Let's check what we need to do next. After we use extended preparations, the next step is to install the Jumbo Hotfix. So here we have the installation command, which is exactly the same as the preparations and the generate command, except the middle parameter to install. And this will start the installation on a standby member, and after it's completed, it will start the installation on the active member. If we had an upgrade here, this is just Jumbo Hotfix, but if we had an upgrade, CDT will also perform a connectivity upgrade by using CUSync and failover. There's a note here that the pre-installation script will not be executed again because it was executed in the extended preparations mode. And after the installation, the post-installation script will be executed on each member. So let's see. Yeah, we're finished. The extended preparations command is finished, and now let's run the install command. All right. So again, while it's running, we can see the status file. It will be the same status file, so we don't even need to go out of it. Here it's refreshing, and in a minute it will start showing us the status of the installation. Yeah, here it is. So right now it's initializing, but in a minute it will start performing actions. Here we go. So while this is running, this will take some time because installing the Jumbo might take 10 or 15 minutes on each member. So while this is running, we can go ahead and show another flow. So for that, I will skip out of this environment and go to environment number B. And here let's start with the simple hotfix flow. Okay, so the simple hotfix flow is a lot similar to the basic flow, except for two things. One is that we are using the advanced mode instead of the basic mode, which means that we will have a deployment plan. I will show it in a minute. And the other is that we're using a filter file. So let's start from the beginning, and we need to go to this folder to start. So I'm just connecting to the management and showing the files. Again, we can go over the files. I'll show just the configuration file for starters. I said previously that there is no package to install here, and you can see that there is none. And there is also no pre-installation or post-installation script defined here, just because we're not using them. But even if we were interested in using them, we wouldn't do it in the configuration file while using the advanced mode. So why not? Let's go back to the guide. And the guide is the same thing for every entry in the configuration file. But right now, we're interested in this deployment plan. So this deployment plan, called installation.plan here, this file, which the user is meant to create by himself, is a sequence of actions which will be performed one by one on each gateway or cluster member installed in this operation. So here you can mix and match supported actions like sending a package, importing a package, installing it, uninstalling packages, running scripts, running commands, fetching files from the gateways, sending files to the gateways, etc., etc. There are multiple actions you can use here, and you can set the sequence of actions here. And for this demonstration, we've created a very simple deployment plan with just two actions: import package and install package. We're just importing and installing this hotfix, which again is just a dummy hotfix. It's called Jumbo HF, but it's not really the Jumbo HF. And we're using this deployment plan as a simple way to introduce the advanced mode. Let's go back to the guide. And the guide also tells us that there is a filter.txt file, which is a list of gateways or clusters that we want to perform the operation on. So this is a whitelist. Every gateway or cluster object that is listed in this file will be part of the installation, and everything that is not will not be. Let's just see this file, filter.txt. So we see that there is just one object listed here called cluster, and we saw previously, I'll show it again in a minute, that this is just the cluster itself, the cluster that we're in the other environment we're installing on. So this is just a simple way to limit your installation to specific gateways or clusters. We also have the CPU's RPM again. It's the same thing. So to start the simple hotfix flow, again, what we need to do is set the MDS environment. And then we have to run this command, which is a little bit longer, but it's also very simple. I'll just copy and paste the command in two parts here and then go over it. Okay, so again, we see we're running the deployment tool. We're telling it to generate the candidates list. Here we're specifying the candidates list file with a little bit more words, but it's the same parameter. This is the file to be created. We're specifying the deployment plan here because we're using a deployment plan. Again, we're specifying the IP of the CMA because the same as before, it's just a little bit more wordy. And lastly, we're specifying the filter file, this is optional. You don't have to use the filter file. It's just a quick way to limit the gateways. So let's run this command. And again, this will query the MDS database, and it will construct a list of, it's already finished. It will construct a list of applicable machines to run the installation on. Since we have used the filter file here, which tells the CDT to only use one object, which is the cluster, here it is. So it was very quick. And we can see in the upgrade order column again that both members will be installed. Let's go back to the guide. Now, yeah, it tells us both customer members are valid. And the next step is to execute the deployment plan. So again, I'm copy pasting the command. It's just several lines, but it should be one line in the demo, of course. Okay, so again, it's the same. Oh, sorry, I didn't copy it correctly. It's the same command, except instead of generate, we have execute here, but everything else is exactly the same as the previous command. So let's run it. And again, in the advanced mode, as in the basic mode, we can follow the installation progress with the status file or with the log files. And again, we can see this entire section in the guide here on how to monitor the installation. Let's jump for a second to the previous environment and see what's up. And you can see that it's installing the Jumbo hotfix right now. It's in 84% on member B. And right after it's finished, it will jump to member A. So it's not finished yet. We can go back to our current environment and let's start monitoring the progress here. So I'll open another connection to the management. Go back to the same folder, which is simple HF, and watch cat. Let's files here. Watch cat the status file. And here we can see that it's importing the package. I reminded that the deployment plan here was to import and install the package. That's it. So right now it's importing the package. Here it's already installing the package. It's a very simple hotfix, so it's a very small hotfix, so it's much quicker. That's why this flow is much shorter than the other one. So this is running, and the other one is also running, still running. So I think we can go over and start another one, start another flow. I'm just using multiple environments to show you multiple flows at one time, but of course you won't be showing multiple flows to the customer at one time because this is a little bit confusing. Sorry, let's go to the guide, and right now the last flow that I want to show you is the Rma Flow. So let's go right to the Rma Flow section. Here it is. Okay, so in the Rma Flow, and again, it starts the same way. You just go to the directory and show the files there. But in the Rma Flow, what we will be doing is we will be backing up the information on the gateways. The backups will be collected on the managed machine, and this is a very small backup. It's just a couple of hundreds of kilobytes because we're just backing up the information. We're backing up what version is installed, what hotfixes are installed, and some configuration of the gateway. So we will be backing up the information from the gateways to the management. Then we will simulate an RMA, and I will show you in a minute how to do that. And then we will use CDT to restore the information, and restoring not just the information, but the version and the hotfixes on the gateway. So let's start. We'll go to this directory. And show the files here. So we have the familiar central deployment tool file and central deployment tool XML file. We also have the CPU's RPM. We have a new file here, this CPU license file, which is currently it must be used when you restore a gateway. You must supply a valid license for that gateway, which CDT will install on the gateway during the restore process. One thing to note here, let's go back to the guide. One thing to note here is the repository element in the configuration file. This is a path to the repository directory under management where the backups will be saved, and also where the packages to install during the restore process need to be located. So when CDT restores the gateway, it uses the version, the CPU's installation package for the version which was installed on the gateway. You need to provide it with that package, and any hotfixes which were installed, you also need to provide the packages for, and everything, all those packages need to be located in the repository directory that is defined in the main configuration file. So just to note that. Right now, let's view the configuration file, and you can see that the repository path is just home admin. And if we go to home admin, sorry, we can see that we have here a jumbo hotfix, and we also have this one. Oh, sorry. This is the R8010 jumbo hotfix, and we also have the R8010 installation package here. So both of these packages will be used during the restore process. Let's go back to our directory. Okay, after we've shown the files, what we need to do is to back up the information. So again, we'll set the MDS environment first. This is of course only if we're using MDS, but in demo we're using MDS. The next step is to run this command. This command, you can see the parameters Rma backup all. So it will back up all the gateways connected to our CMA and save the backups on the management in the repository folder we defined. We can also use CDT to back up specific gateways using two commands. We first generate candidates list, and then we back up whatever gateways we define in the candidates list. But here it's much simpler if we just back up everything. So let's run this command. And this shouldn't take long because there are not many gateways and clusters connected here. But while it's running, I would like to see what's happening in the other environments. Okay, so in the first environment, member B has finished its installation. It finished running the post-installation script. And then right now it's installing the package on member A. So while this is happening, I think I would like to connect to member B just to show you what happened there. So member B is node 2, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, and you can see that we have a pre-log and post-log text here, which is the files generated by the pre-installation and post-installation script. And let's just view these files. So here we have an output of the commands that we've run in the pre-installation script. Then the most interesting thing here is the output of cpinfo -y all, which shows that no hotfixes are installed here. And if we look at the post log, we can see that there is a jumbo hotfix installed on this member. Of course, if we run cpinfo ourselves, we'll get the same output. Here, jumbo hotfix is installed on this gateway. Great. So member A is still installing. Let's skip to environment number B. And here the same thing. Member B is finished. Member A is installing, and it's at 50%. Okay. Going back to our RMA environment, we see that the backup is finished. So let's see what the guide says to do next. So you can review the saved backup information. We have a command to view the backup information. Let's just run this command. It's in two parts. So here we specify RMA info, and we specify the gateway which we want to get information on. So we're interested in the R8010 gateway. So we can see this is the information that's been saved on the gateway. We see the IP address, we see the version, the take number, we see the CPU's installation package, which will be required to restore this gateway. We can see the hotfixes which are installed, and this is again the packages that we need to provide when we restore this gateway. And we also see a bunch of files, configuration files which are saved. And everything, all of this can be viewed on the management itself. If you go to the repository folder, I'll just open another connection to be a little bit simpler. And sorry. And the repository folder is home admin. So here we have a backups folder. Let's go to it. And we have a backup for our live server. And here we have member B backup and member A backup and R8010 gateway backup and R7730 backup. So each of these tar files contains all the information and the configuration files which are saved in the backup. Sorry. And you can see that these are not very large files. All right, let's see what's next. After we reviewed the information, and here we see an image of the information that we just saw. It tells us to show the repository folder to the customer. And the next thing is to simulate an Rma replacement. So to do this, in the demo environment, we simulate this by turning off the ETH0 interface on the gateway we just backed up on the R8010 gateway, and then turning on the same interface on the extra gateway. This will essentially switch those gateways in the management's mind, and it's like a new gateway has been connected to the environment with the same parameters as the old gateway. So to do this, we need to connect to the client environment, which is right here, in using the cloud share. And we start with the R8010 gateway here. We connect to it. And we enter Clish, and this is all specified in the guide. And we run set interface ETH0 state off. Sorry. And now we connect to the extra gateway. And we're already in Clish, so set interface ETH0 state on. Yeah, and this simulates a gateway before the first name wizard. Like this is what's required for CDT to restore the gateway. So once we've done this, and again, as I said, this is all stated in the guide here. Once we've done this, we can run the restore command. Let's copy it and then I'll explain it. Okay, so central deployment tool, Rma Restore. We specify which gateway we want to restore. We specify the license file, like I said, we need to specify, and the server again. So we run this command, and it will start restoring. So the restore process, let's go back to the guide one more time. We can monitor the restore process again the same way, but the restore process will install the major version, which is R8010. It will install the hotfixes, which is the R8010 Jumbo hotfix, and it will restore the configuration. Now, this might take a long time. That's why this flow takes about an hour totally. So I don't think we'll view the entire thing. But let's open the status file again. Just to see what's up. Okay, so it's just starting up. Yeah, it will take a minute to start up. And maybe in the meantime, let's check our previous environments. Probably finished by now. No, this one is not, but it's very, very near. This one is finished. So, going back to the guide, once the installation is done, you will get an email message. We can see in the Outlook here, just send and receive. And yeah, we got a message telling us that batch number 1 out of 1 batches finished the execution of the deployment plan, and these are the members which have completed, and it's all completed successfully. and we see the log files here. So all very nice.
Explain the process when you have 100 gateways.
Oh, yeah. Just to note that CDT runs the installation on all gateways in parallel. So even if you have 100 gateways, every installation will be done in parallel, and you will get a notification on completion of everything. But any error during the installation on one gateway, you will get an email immediately for that gateway, and it will stop doing whatever it's doing. The exception to this is when you are running on clusters. So for each cluster, the members in that cluster will be installed one by one, starting from the standby members and then the active member. The guy tells us to run a few commands at the end of the process just to see that everything is well, like CP info, like we just did. And you can check the CPU's installation log on the gateway. This is, of course, only optional and only if you want to show the customer that indeed the installation has been done. But we know that it has been done, we've seen it, and this short flow is completely finished. Let's view again the first one. It's still installing. So just go back to the RMA environment. And yeah, we can see that now the status file has been updated with the single gateway that we are performing the restore on, and we can see that it's sending the R8010 installation package from the management to the gateway, and it's sending part 3 of 3. Because it's a large package, CDT will split the package into parts, send it, and then join it on the gateway. So I'm looking. I'm seeing questions in the chat. The question is, can this still be used by my partner to provision customer appliances? So yeah, you can use CDT advanced mode to perform almost everything you need from a central location. You can use it to run scripts, including setting of configuration or even getting information from the gateways. You will need to create the custom deployment plan to do that, but the CDT provides all the tools you need, and we have an extensive admin guide for CDT. So yeah, you can do that. And another question I have is, will CDT override pre and post log files with every install attempt? So this is just an example that we've shown in the we've run a pre-installation script which then outputs the commands output to a log file. So we could change it to whatever we want. In the example we've used double arrow, greater than signs to append to the file. So every time we'll run it, it will just append to the same file. But in general, you can control it whatever way you want. So in the RMA, we see that it's not joining the package now. As I said, it's been sent in parts. Oh, and it's just finished, and now it's importing the package. So basically, our main demo is finished because there is nothing more interesting to see here. It will just continue to go through the RMA restore process, and you can monitor it, but I don't think it's very interesting to watch. And if you have any questions, that's a good time to ask them. Yeah, I see another question. Is it possible to restore files edited by hand? I'm not sure that I follow the question, but everything you can do using a script on the gateways. If you can write a script that does it, then CDT can run that script for you on each gateway. If it's a little bit more complicated than a script, then it might be a little bit harder to do. If it requires multiple I don't know, editing of files and stuff like that, maybe it's a little bit hard to do a script. But if you were able to write a script that can do it for you, then CDT can run it for you.
Alex, there is another question in the Q&A.
I have another question. Can the preparation step be used to distribute shell scripts to the gateways? Basically, yes. If you use, we have two options to use the preparation step. One is to use the basic mode, like we've shown in the first example, the extended preparations mode. This will also only send the packages to the gateways. But you're able to use the advanced mode and create a deployment plan. And actually, this is something that I want to show you, but in a minute. You can use the advanced mode and create a deployment plan which does whatever you want. So you can prepare a shell script and run and use a deployment plan that just sends those scripts to the gateways. And you can use, for instance, another deployment plan to run those scripts on the gateways if you want, or you can use the same one, same deployment plan to send the scripts and run them on the gateways. And you can even redirect the script output on each gateway to a log file on that gateway, and then use another command in the same deployment plan to fetch those files from the gateway. And I have another question about including this capability in Smart Console. So we do have, we are running a parallel project to include the CDT capabilities into Smart Console, but that project is relatively in its early stages, so I would say it won't be available this year, probably next year. So just one thing I wanted to show, one more thing, is the flow that we haven't shown in this demo, which is the advanced flow. So let's just go over it very, very quickly. So again, the advanced flow starts as every flow. You go to the advanced folder, you show the files. And in the advanced flow, we are showing two deployment plan files, one for preparations and one for installation. So the preparations plan will update the CPU's agent, import and verify the R80 upgrade package. So it will the plan is to upgrade gateways and clusters to R8010, and then install the R8010 Jumbo Hotfix on them. So the preparations will just send the packages to the gateways, and then the installation plan will install those packages. So it will upgrade to R8010 and then install the R8010 Jumbo Hotfix. So again, the advanced flow is much the same as the other ones. You run the DSM, you generate the candidates list file, and in this instance, you run the generate twice, once for the preparations plan, and then you run execute on that plan, and then you generate for the installation plan, and then you execute the installation plan. So that's the difference between the advanced flow and the other flows. But everything else is the same. I see I have more questions.
Alec, are you looking for the other question? Okay. Arik?
I can't see any other question.
If you go to the answer, I think you can see all the questions. But I think Tzachi already replied to that about the refresh.
No, okay. So are there any other questions?
Okay, so I think we're good. Arik, thanks for your time. Thanks for your team time for building it and doing this training. I hope this was helpful and you will use it with your customers, with partners. Partners also are here in this session, so you can use it also with your customers. We are here for any questions that you have. Use the mailing list and stay tuned for the next DemoPoint Academy session that we're planning to have. We believe it will be in the next 2 weeks. And this is it. Thank you very much. Have a great day.
Thank you very much, everyone.